Hi, I'm Kelly Boroff with Arrieda Consulting. This is part of our leader development series of videos where we're helping people be leaders. Doesn't matter your title. We're all leaders in the Agile community. And we're giving you subjects and topics that will hopefully help you recognize times and opportunities for you to step in and show your leadership. Today's topic is reaching Agile maturity. This is absolutely my passion right now. And it's not about the maturity of process. It's about the maturity of people and team. It's about actually being and acting agile. I hope my PowerPoint works. Oh, there we go. Okay. So there's a pattern to change, right? And we all go through it. And there's a science behind this. But I just like to simply call it the crawl, walk, run of change. When you change process, when people are learning things, whether you do it individually or in a team, you will see them go through these phases of learning. The first phase is really that introduction of what are you telling me I have to do? What am I supposed to do? And there's some confusion and fear, but you'll see that your teams get through this fairly quickly and move into phase two, which I call walk, which is the learning part, really the instructional, the step by step by step of how they are to execute, right? And this is a frustrating phase because everyone learns differently. We're all unique. And as a team, that brings a little bit of, I guess, a little more difficulty, right? Because everyone moves through change at different paces and different times, and they need different things in order to move through that change. And so you as a leader, recognizing this, that this is a unique process for an individual, but is also a process for the team as a whole, will help you help others get through this phase. And the key here is, and it's even more challenging in technology teams because we use so much of our brains to solve complex problems every day in, day out. And there just isn't a lot left to apply to learning a process. So we get frustrated very quickly because that seems a non-productive use of our time and our effort. And so you're going to hear things like, I'm working the process and I'm working your work. I have to do two things all the time. It's important to just move through that phase. And this phase is all about repeat, repeat, repeat until you get to run, which is that it's automatic now for you. There isn't, 15 steps that I have to remember throughout the week. I don't really have to think about it anymore. And now I'm using the process to work the work. And I totally get it. I'm doing it. And just to give you an example that'll resonate, riding a bike. Right? You've either learned to ride a bike, maybe you've taught somebody to ride a bike, but if you're ever going through the process of riding a bike, it is a good example of these three stages. You introduce the bike, it's this novel idea. It seems a little far-fetched that I'm going to ride on this two-wheeled thing. But I move through, right? And with instruction, I understand, pedaling, steering, balance, it all has to kind of go together. And as a leader or an instructor, you're going to support them, right? With Agile, you're probably putting coaches, maybe a center of excellence, maybe some change management in place to help your teams get through this stage and learn the mechanics of the new process. And so here you see them, they're holding the bike, or maybe they're putting training wheels on, but all of these support structures just to help teams accelerate through that frustrating cycle of learning. And then one day, they get on that bike and they just do it. And you can see the excitement and the freedom, they're no longer thinking about it. And I remember, when I learned, it was this independence, where I could ride to my friend's house and I could maybe ride to the store. I mean, it was exciting and it was definitely uplifting. First, I accomplished it because I didn't understand it. But secondly, I now could, kind of ride around, enjoy myself, and get places quicker. But when I talk about maturity, it's a phase after these. And what I'm talking about here is taking that skill that you've learned and now innovating and using it to create something else, something bigger, something better. In my day was riding a bike, but in the generations that followed me, they created an entire new industry. BMX didn't exist, nor was it even a thought when I learned how to ride a bike. But how cool is it that someone said, well, it's just not enough. I think I could do more. And just ran with it and just created this entirely new industry. So the point here is it's just very important for the future of Agile and the exponential value that it can bring us to get teams to this place of allowing the next generation or the creative thinkers to push us forward to a place that we never thought we could be. But, it's challenging. So I understand, hey, Kelly, you're talking about that, but that sounds like a dream world, right? But it can be done, right? I've seen teams, and you know that feeling when you've been on a team that achieves something that you never thought you could achieve. It's awesome. So here's some of the blockers, right? When you start out, it's important to have that end state vision, because remember, we're not building teams that should have more labor costs than they had when we started, right? We're trying to be lean, mean, adaptive, and high velocity. So have that end state, because you're going to get really marred down here in steps 2 to get to 3, and you'll forget that. So it's important to set that end state. And as you're going through that learning process, of that stage of walk, and that frustration lies in there, you have to watch that they don't resort back to old habits. And you as a person have to tell yourself, it seems easy to go back, but I have to push forward, and I will be better for it. And reaching that automatic stage where now I'm running the process, and you're probably now an advocate for it. And it seems like, why didn't we always do this, right? You forget that phase too quickly. But here you have to challenge yourself to not get marred down in just speed, right? I'm just working harder. I really, really want to strive to work smarter, right? There's variables coming at us every day. There's opportunities, there's challenges. We want to be smarter, and we want to work differently. And that means pushing to this stage, which it really starts to center around true empowerment. Not just saying we're empowering people, but actually empowering people, because that's the only way that we're going to see some of this exponential value, that adaptation, influence, and progressive thinking, what that can do for us, both as a business and as an industry. And then achieving the high-performing cycle of being agile, where change is no longer a detriment to our team, to our organization, or to our business. It is now an asset that we have in our pockets to meet a changing and demanding world. And these teams, they cycle through adapting, introducing something new to be better, accelerating through understanding it and executing it, and into the next adaptation or even correction. Right? My high-performing teams were always pushing. And so they would make mistakes and they would have failures. But that was a sign to me that they were just not settling for how they perform today. So that's a high-performing team. High-performing teams are not quiet, right? They're challenging. They're challenging themselves, and they want to perform better tomorrow than they did today. What did Amazon say? Every day is day one. Well, take it to heart. And these are the teams we want to have for our future. And we have to keep in mind, especially if you're in any kind of leadership role, don't limit the next generation by what we understood in our generation. The power of where to go in our future lies in the next generation, and it can't be burdened by the fears and the barriers of what we've learned. So empower that next generation, and let's get them to fly to make their own creations. That's the exponential value Agile will bring to your business, to the industry, to people in general. And that's all I have today. Check us out. Send me some topics, and please subscribe to our YouTube. Bye now.